I'm going to record too. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this live stream training. My name is Bobby Umar. I'm very excited to have myself, as well as my friend, colleague, and coach, Carlos Adele here. We are going to do a really fantastic thing today, which is normally I do live streams, but I never do training. But we're going to actually do a training where we're going to talk about the Iconic CEO formula and how to automate your business and create the success. We're also going to talk about how to get a TEDx talk in 2023. So there's a lot of really amazing things we're going to talk about. This is live streaming on LinkedIn as well as on Twitter. And we're going to try both of us. So if you are part of this conversation, if you see this, please comment, engage, ask questions in the comments. Let us know where you're from. Share knowledge, share information. Be part of the conversation. We want you to join us because it's going to be a really epic conversation. And we're going to be here for an hour and a half going through training. I'm going to share slides. He's going to share slides. It's going to be awesome. So, if you guys are into this, I'm really excited about this. Share it, spread the word, because I've never done a training on LinkedIn Live before, so I'm pretty excited about it. A little bit nervous, but that's okay. But I'm excited, and that my excitement comes maybe overshadow the nervousness. So, with that, I want to do a little personal kind of introduction to Carlos. So Carlos, I met him several years ago. We do content on LinkedIn. I met him in several of my business and entrepreneur communities. And eventually I was like, man, this guy's such a great guy to work with. And I actually hired him as a coach because I thought he knows his stuff. And he's taught me a heck of a lot about sales and business growth and scaling and things like that. So, and then he said, hey, Bobby, let's collaborate. Oh, okay, sure. And so now we're putting together some really great programs on elevating your business and becoming a more iconic CEO, and as well as getting yourself a TEDx talk the next year to build your authority as a CEO, as a seasoned executive leader. So with that, the agenda today is Carlos is going to go first with his thoughts on the Iconic CEO formula. And then after that, I'm going to go and then I'm going to share my knowledge around the TEDx stuff. And I'm just looking at my phone here to see, okay, there's 23 people are here. Tatiana's here and Amber's here and Shion's here. Okay, Carlos, over to you, my friend. You start.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Boy, for the introduction. I'm very excited as well. I think we're live in about every single social media platform out there. So comment, share, and we'll get back to you now if we can, otherwise later. So I don't want to make this super long. I'm going to share my screen. And you forgive me if the tech is a little bit glitchy. It always is. Hopefully you can see my screen now. And we talked about the concept of the Iconic CEO before, but what we are trying to push is the idea that you don't need to kill yourself to work to run a business. You can run a business that is iconic, that you can have fun running, and that you can become this human being that's going to be highly successful without burning out and doing crazy things or working crazy hours. So again, with Bobby, with combined knowledge and expertise, and we're having lots of fun with this concept, and it mixes very well. Because TEDx, and speaking on TEDx, is a great way to be seen as an authority, to be seen as an iconic CEO. And that's what we're going to be doing today. As Bobby said, first thing we're going to be looking at your iconic identity training. And this is for you to understand that everything you need is already within you. Like we usually go out there to find for the magic bullet, for the magic formula to succeed, and it's usually already within you, so you need to start looking inside. The second thing we're going to look into is the Iconic Business Hub, which is something that we're super excited that we're on the process of launching, which is a way to remove you from your business, from your day-to-day operations, and focus on the things that light you up. And then we're going to be talking about the 5 steps to become a TEDx speaker in 2023. There is one thing that you're not going to find today here, and it's a sales pitch. So there is no sales pitch today, okay? There's nothing to buy. If you came here already with the credit card in your pocket, like, I'm so sorry, put it back, there's nothing to buy. We just want to deliver as much value as we can. And of course, at the end of the webinar, not webinar, the workshop, if you want to find out more, we'll let you know how you can do it. You already probably know us on LinkedIn or on social media platforms. You can reach out. We're going to be sending a copy of the Organic Client Secrets at the end for everyone staying until the end. For the ones that we don't have the email, we're going to be sending a message, probably on LinkedIn. So keep an eye on that. And if you're wondering if that's for you or not, well, look, if you're a service-based business owner, coach, consultant, solopreneur, and you're looking to boost your authority so you can make a bigger impact and bigger income, that's for you. If you're looking at using your knowledge and your brand story to create breakthroughs in your career, in your business, or in other people's lives, this is going to be really good for you. If you're looking for ways to work smarter instead of harder, leveraging your time, making more, working less, and living better, then that's definitely for you. And I don't know anyone that wants to live worse. I want to live better. And finally, if you want to generate more and better business opportunities online, speaking engagements, particularly on LinkedIn, this is going to be highly, highly valuable for you. This is not for the ones that are looking for a quick fix or magic money pill formula. This is not this. Now, what we expect for the next 90 minutes, guys, turn off your phones, or at least put them in silence, focus your attention, and don't be checking email and other websites and Facebook and LinkedIn and other platforms, because if you spend like 90 minutes with us, 60 minutes or 90 minutes, and you don't really pay attention and take notes, you're going to be wasting like a lot of your time. And play full out, ask questions, and be active, because you know that knowledge without action, it is useless. I hope that makes sense. And I would love for you guys to participate. So I don't see the chat box, but I would love to see the comments, or use the chat box if you're in the Zoom call, and let us know that you're here. So today's speakers, Bobby and Carlos. To introduce a little bit my friend Bobby, he's a 3-time business owner. He's been 5 times TEDx speaker. But what I always tell him that he should mark is the other 3 times that he said no to being on a TEDx stage, which not many people can say that. He's a digital influencer. He's got like more than 650,000 followers and 1 billion impressions only this year. He's a keynote speaker. He's been on more than 1,000 talks across 4 continents. He's an expert in thought leadership and personal branding. You probably have seen him multiple times on LinkedIn and other platforms, and virtual trainer and a coach. And he's got a good coach as well. And myself, if you don't know me, I'm an industrial engineer. I got a degree many years ago. And I started my first business when I was 15. And after that, I've been working with lots of Fortune 500 companies, helping them or working in the company. I've been the founder and the CEO of 4 different businesses, and I helped build 7 multi-million-dollar companies around the world. I'm an author and also an international speaker, and I'm a certified, one of those that have the title coach, executive and a business coach by ICF, and also certified NLP coach. And moving forward, why TEDx? Why are we talking about TEDx and business same place? So the reason is easy. We've done a little bit of research, and we found that about 10% of the people that want to get on a TEDx stage, they do it because it's a personal goal. It's something that they want to do to feel accomplished. About 75% of the people that want to be on a TEDx stage, they do it because they want to become an expert and an authority in their field. So positioning, which means more business, more money, more impact, and more income. And there's about 15% that they just have a very powerful message and they just want to share it altruistically. And these people want to get on TEDx for that reason. So I would love to know, guys, which one are you? Like 1, 2, or 3? Bobby, can you see the comments or the chat? And if
So Roseanne, Jazz, Melanie, everyone's engaging. There's Tom, Aries. A lot of people are engaging on the LinkedIn live feed. So if you have a second window, I have a second window here where I can see people that are commenting on the feed.
Beautiful.
I use my phone too.
I'd just like to get an idea of what we have in the room, because I'm going to talk a little bit about business, which is my jam. And I just want to make sure that we are you know, that I'm addressing like the majority of the people. It's not only business, because there's a lot of mindset in there. So I believe that even if you're not here for the positioning, you'll still enjoy it.
Yeah, so far we're seeing 3, 1, 3, all of them. That's what we got so far.
Awesome. All right, cool. So look, I want you to ask yourself and think, what is the cost of not being seen as an authority in your industry if you're in business? And just think about it. Today, there's a lot of people, especially online after COVID, like we got like 65% more people online, both businesses and consumers. And that makes it much, much more difficult to stand out from the crowd. Now, the one who's being seen as the authority is going to get the biggest part of the pie, is the one with the better toys, the better clients, and better life at the end, because we're not talking only about money, but living the best possible life. Now, what would it mean for you to be considered the top expert in your industry or field, for your business, for your influence, for your impact, for your income, but most importantly, for your personal life? Because people want to make money because they want the freedom. People don't eat money. People want money because with money means something for them. And it's usually freedom and time. So share it in the comments. Let us know what would mean for you. Like, what would be like this big outcome, something that it would, you know, like the dream desire, the dream outcome that you're looking for. Because this is the reality. And that was an article that came on Forbes this last year. And that's what they say. In 2021, there was 4.4 million new businesses only in the United States. New businesses, 4.4 million. And 96% of these businesses failed within the first year. And this is a statistic that it doesn't matter how many businesses start, it's always the same. And the reason is why. And especially today in the online world, you can see a lot of people starting businesses, a coaching business, an agency, a consulting business, entrepreneurs everywhere. But then you see, if you're consistent enough online, that a lot of these people keep disappearing and moving into something different. So these are the 96% of people that don't stick, don't get to do the same thing for very long. And this is because what I call the business paradigm shift. And this is super important, guys. Like this, it took me like 40 years to realize that. It cost me millions of dollars, lots of stress, and sleepless nights. So this is what usually happens, right? You guys want to achieve an outcome. Especially online, you see all these business owners and all these millionaires and billionaires and all this posting, you know, all this craziness on social media. And they all sell you the outcome. We all want the money. You know, now being a millionaire is not cool enough. Now you need to be a billionaire. And what happens is that we want the outcome so much. And what we do is we buy the tactics or the way to get there. So here would be the tactics. So this is the business model that most people, unfortunately, are taking on. And what happens with this business model is that it works for a few people, but not for everyone. And you see, like in the coaching industry, you see in every single industry, especially entrepreneurs, people buying like super expensive trainings, super expensive programs, paying high ticket to achieve this result up here. And 96% of them, they get frustrated, they get burnt out, they say this doesn't work, it doesn't work. Why? Because of this. Because we forget about the human. We forget about what's most important in your business and in your life. We forget about this part of your business, which is basically and mostly you. Because you have your values, you have your principles, and you have your why. And they will be very different to my values, my principles, and my why. How can I assume that what works for me here, it's going to work for you as well, if we are different from a foundational level? Now, from here, we have the vision, a mission, and we have your purpose. Now, this is going to be even more different because it depends on your life experiences here. You will have, every individual is different. And then when you understand what these two elements here are, when you understand these two here, then you'll be able to find a strategy that fits you, a business strategy, something that you'll be doing, something that it comes within, something that lights you up, not implementing strategies and sending DMs and doing things online and doing things that you don't feel like doing, that make you cringe because you want the outcome. You need to go down here. You want to go down here and build your business from the ground up. So the foundations are super important. And this part here is the part that everyone is missing these days because we are all blinded by this. So I hope that makes sense because, look, guys, this is not about following your passions and ignoring everything else. This is about understanding who you are, understanding what lights you up, understanding what are your strengths, your zone of genius, and monetizing those. And of course, it requires hard work, but that doesn't mean that you need to struggle. Now, the problem is that everyone is asking, okay, what else do I need to do? And my question here is, what if the fastest way to making more was stop asking, what else do I need to do? And instead, you started asking, who do I need to become? What kind of human, what kind of person, what kind of personality, what kind of character do I need to bring on the table to become this superhero, this iconic CEO, this TEDx speaker? Because you don't want to go into TEDx with a prefabricated story that someone gives to you, and you go there, you vomit the story, and then you go home and you keep being the same as you were before. You want to go to TEDx with something that it belongs to you, something that it speaks your truth. This is your character. This is your reality. This is who you are. So do we want to work on that now? And that's why I want to start with that, because this is not about giving you like a tactic to get into TEDx and there you go, and then you get on TEDx and then what? No, we want you to have the tools, the resources to build up this human, this iconic CEO that you are. Go on TEDx, shine, and then use the tools to leverage this authority into your business. Make sense? I can't see comments or anything, but I'm assuming that everyone is going to say yes, yes, yes. And I'm going to move
Tom says, makes great sense. So keep it going. We're doing good here.
Okay, beautiful. So this is the iconic CEO blueprint, okay? Just so you understand, usually what happens, as I shared a second ago, usually you would buy into, you know, a coach, a consultant, someone who sells you the tactics to get an outcome, and they would sell you this part of the equation. And usually at this stage, people are, you know, they might be stressed, they don't know what to do, they don't know, you know, they've done too much, and, you know, they burn out, they overwhelm, they stressed out, not getting the results. And then what they get is they get the tactics to attract, convert, and deliver your services. This is strategy. Oh, they get one, and sometimes it works, and most of the times it doesn't. So what we are doing different, what we want you to understand is that we need to start with the foundation. And here is where the magic starts. And if we don't build a solid foundation, it's very difficult that everything else works out. So basically what we do here is we work with your iconic identity. This is the one that's going to get made to TEDx. And usually what happens is that people struggle because, the limiting beliefs, they don't know they can succeed. They don't really believe in themselves. They don't have the certainty, the imposter syndrome. I think I've never met anyone in business that doesn't suffer from the imposter syndrome. Like we don't feel that we can move ahead, that we can, take the next step. So it is a lot of mindset work. There is a lot of understanding who you are. There's a lot of understanding what are your strengths and monetizing them. Because what we want to have is we want to have the certainty to generate an impact, the impact that you always wanted to generate, and that's gonna create the income that you want. So here we build the foundation. With this is when we move here. And I say, okay, what kind of clients can you attract, or do you want to attract? What is the best way to convert them? Because some people like to have conversations, some people like to run a webinar, everyone's different. And how do you like to deliver your services? Do you want to do consulting, coaching? You want to run a business, an e-commerce? Everyone's different. So remember, when we go and buy the tactics to someone who's making money, we forget about looking into this part here. So once we get clarity on who you are and what are you the best at, what's your zone of genius, we go into finding the right strategy here. And then once we have the foundation, and it's a solid foundation, what we do is we put in place what we call the Thriving Business Hub. Sorry. And in here, what we do is we optimize. Let me change the color. Here, what we do is we optimize your processes to save you time, to make sure that you make the most out of your time and the most out of the money that you put in. We then automate whatever can be automated, because usually solopreneurs or business owners from small businesses, we tend to do everything. We wear all the hats. So we want is you to focus on growth. Stop trying to control and force everything, so you can release control. You can keep growing, and you can make the money that you want to make. Once we have this automated, what we want to do is to delegate the rest of the things that you don't really want to do yourself. That doesn't mean hiring a CEO, hiring a personal assistant. That means delegating the tasks that we've been working in this part of the business in a way that it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's easy, and it doesn't give you a headache. And with that, which is 3, then you have the entire formula. You can start removing yourself, and you can start running a thriving business that gives you and supports you the lifestyle that you want to have. So far, so good? Okay, cool. So now we are going to find out what is this zone of genius. Who are you, and what is this life training that you need to go through to understand what are your strengths, what you need to focus on, and what is the power and the value that you can bring on the table. And we call that, and this is part of the training of, we cannot go over the entire thing in a 90 minutes call, but we are going to share this part, which is one of the most powerful. We call it the Iconic Identity Training, Your Life Story. Now here, this is an exercise that I did myself and I do with all my clients. Basically, what happens is that you and I are different. Everyone here is different. And why? Mostly because we had different life experiences. We had different things happen to us. So here's for you to do an exercise. And if you look at the top here, it says, I felt, I craved, so I did, and I developed a new belief. What it means is you want to choose, and that's important, take notes, because you can do it later, but take notes so you understand what you need to do. You went through, let's choose 3 major events in your life. Something happened, something really good, something really bad, but something that really hit you. And when this thing happened, and you see here my example, high school, transition to a rock star. This is where, well, at high school, I started doing drugs. Here, I started, I took this to another level. There's moments of my life, moments of your life, where something changed, something really deep in you changed. Because you felt a certain way, you felt alone, you felt not accepted, you felt that you were not enough, you felt unworthy. So you break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. In this case, I rebuilt myself against the wall because I was craving connection. I wasn't accepted. I wasn't feeling love from my kids, for the kids at school. I wasn't feeling worthy and I wasn't feeling significant enough. So what I did is I rebuilt against the world. I became like a rebel and I started being a bully and I started doing naughty things because I was craving all these things. So you wanna write down what it is for you, and you can find like 3 to 5 major events, and it could be anything. But pick 3 to 5, no more, 3 to 5, no more. Now, what happened is that because I felt that way and I was craving this, then I did something. So what I did, I stopped being a good student. I went wild or rebel. I turned into a bully. I started doing drugs. And I did all these things because some of my values were being compromised, because something I wasn't getting, something I was feeling and something I was craving. And then I got some sort of result out of doing that. And you got an understanding, you learned a lesson. And this is the lesson of the new belief developed. Whoops, I don't know what's that. This is the new belief developed. And for example, in this case, I learned that it's important who you surround yourself with. That's why later on in my business, I decided to create a community of people that would support each other, because I really understood that when you go with people that do drugs, you end up doing drugs. When you go with people who are millionaires, you end up being a millionaire. I started believing in myself and being proud of myself. I was a little bit cocky. You know, I understood that in business, you have to provide a lot of value. And if you do that, you will succeed. And I became a rebel, and I decided, you know, like, it's okay to bend the law for as long as you don't do anything wrong and you don't hurt anyone. So all these beliefs made me who I am today. And all these beliefs, if you spend some time working on that, you will see that you learn things that have determined the things or have influenced all the things that happen after that. So again, choose 3 to 5. There is 1 here, 2 here. And then there was another one, which is when I left and moved to Australia. There was another one when I started my business. When I hit 6 figures first time with my coaching business, and then I became a burnout entrepreneur, and I burned everything down to the ground. So every time that something like that happened, again, the same thing. Now, again, don't rush into doing that. Like, spend some time, get someone who can do it with you so you can share it, someone who is willing to listen and understand you. And you will see that you will get like a lot of juice out of that. So again, there is a few more slides. I can send you the presentation later on if you guys want it. Just let us know in the comments or in the chat, and we'll make it available for you. Once you've done this exercise, what I want you to do is you come here and we're going to create your superpowers brainstorm. And this is an exercise that you'll have to do if you want to get on TEDx as well. And from here, what we will create is your 5 iconic identity identifiers. So out of all these lessons that you learned during these events that happen into your life, you want to write them down here, all of them. You've become compassionate, you've become assertive, you've become a hardworking person, you've become, I don't know, they might not be on the positive, but it's something that makes you different. So you want to put here as many as you can, as many as you can think of. Because when you finish doing that, and again, don't try to do that in 5 minutes, because you'll need to spend time here. It's very hard to find out these things. And you want to get someone who knows you really well and ask them for feedback, and it's going to help. And then from here, you're going to get your 5 identity identifiers. And these are the 5 values, the 5 things that you want to live your life up to. Like you can be compassionate, you can be understanding, you can be loving, you can be positive, you can be like one of 5 things. Because with these 5 things, what you want to do is you want to live your life always reminding that you need to live up to your standards. And one of the things that I ask my clients to do is to set reminders on their phone. So along the day, you keep reminding yourself how fucking amazing you are and powerful. And what are your identity identifiers? What are your values? What are the things that you want to be defined by? And this is where your iconic identity starts being created. Because you're not gonna choose random things. You're not choose things for a reason, even if you think there is no reason. Make sense?
that's looking good. Lots of great comments. It's good.
Okay. Awesome. So why is all this work important? Well, as we said, this work is important because you guys, if you're running a business, if you're working in your 9 to 5, it doesn't matter what you do, what are you in life or in business right now. There is things that give you energy, and the things that you do in your day that are draining the energy out of you. What you want is to identify what are the things that are draining the energy from you and start doing less of that and more of that. Because it is when you start operating from your zone of genius, which is the things that you not only enjoy the most doing, but are adding the most value to other people, to your business, to your clients, when you start feeling that something very big is happening in your life. So the question is, if you had never asked yourself this question, you want to ask yourself this question: what gives you energy and what is draining it from you? And you would get surprised. Like, we ask this question all the time, and there's not many people that can say that 80 or 75% of the things they do in their day is giving them energy. And that's very sad. You know, when you wake up, when you have to go on holidays, how do you wake up? It's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep. You want to jump out of bed and go on a trip. Is that the way you wake up when you have to go to work? What if you could wake up the same way to do your work, or run your business, or go to your job, than how you do it when you go on holidays? Because you might think that it's not possible. I'll tell you it is. I also thought it was not possible until one day I was like, I could not sleep out of excitement to keep going the following day. And it's a very beautiful place to be. And you want to keep checking yourself, because at some point you will tend to, to lose your day towards the things that drain you, but you always need to be checking yourself and stop doing the things that suck your energy and put yourself into a state of focus on the things that give you the energy. So along the years, one of the things that we realized that our clients did not want to do, or either because they didn't know how to do them, or because they say, look, I hate this stuff, I don't want to do that. The first thing is sales calls. No, I rarely meet anyone that wants to do sales calls. And the second thing, it's usually tech and automations and building a business that it actually gives you time, not only money. And so after helping people for years with this stuff, especially online, we decided to to create something that would help them. Because what we want is to build a business that allows you to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, gives your time back, and supports your lifestyle. Because if you have all the money in the world, but you don't have time to spend with your wife, with your kids, to travel, to do the things you really love, it's never going to work. So we've built something that it works even if you're just getting started. You don't need to hire like an army of VAs or do crazy things and spend a lot of money. And it doesn't increase your overheads, even if you're a little solopreneur. And this is what I'm going to explain very quickly here. And at the end of the call, I will explain you guys how you can become a part of it. sort of thing. So basically, the Iconic Business Hub formula, what we want is to create something that it helps entrepreneurs, solopreneurs mostly, increase their customer retention. So instead of chasing clients all the time, what we want them is to have clients for longer time. So you don't need to be on the run all the time and hunting for new clients to be able to make the income that you want. Usually they don't like marketing, so we like to automate marketing and lead generation, building relationships with people. When you're trying to scale a business, usually people don't like to spend 24/7 on online, responding messages or sending emails or engaging or creating content. So that's what we try to put all together and automate it, onboarding new clients and delivering your services. Basically, these are the things that we find that most people dislike the most, and it sucks the energy, and that's the things that they enjoy the most when these things are automated. So I'm going to explain very quickly how it works. And usually what happens is, and if you guys are running a business in a different way, you can let me know, but we are all online: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're using to build connections and to network with people. So you meet new people instead of going to events in person or flying around, especially when COVID is, closing all the air spaces in the world. You do that online. So we understand how to do that. But then what happens is that you want to, all these people, all these leads, all these relationships that you start building here, you want to own them. You want to put them in a place that it doesn't belong to Facebook, it doesn't belong to LinkedIn. When my business hit $500,000, Facebook shut down my account. I lost everything. I lost all the contacts, all the relationships, all the way to reach out to people. And I said, never again. And it happened the same with Instagram or with LinkedIn. These platforms don't belong to you. They belong to Mark Zuckerberg or whoever the owner is. So what we do is automatically bring these people into your world. And we call that the Iconic Business Hub. And here what we have, we get them in through a website or a funnel. We put them into a CRM or a place where you can track them so you can follow up, so you don't forget about someone who's interested today, but they want to follow up in 2 months and then you forget. So we want to have a system, and everything inside here is automatic. Inside the whole thing, everything is automated. And then you want to nurture these relationships with messages, phone calls, if you call your clients, all the relationship it's built here also on autopilot. You want to have your calendars to book calls, and once they're ready to collect the payments, you want to collect the payments, and you want to deliver your services automatically, and everything is integrated in one place. Usually what we needed to do, and when I started my business, and I still see a lot of people doing that, if you want to send emails, then you want to buy an email software, email autoresponder, ActiveCampaign. There's many of them. If you want to book calls online, you need a Calendly or something like scheduled ones. For the emails, you can get response as well. If you have a website, you then have a website here, or ClickFunnels, or courses, or Zapier to connect all the things together. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. It keeps getting more and more expensive. And the more your business grows, the more expensive it gets, because all these subscriptions, they all have a lot of limitations. So when you grow a little bit, it becomes super expensive and super difficult to interconnect everything together. On top of that, what happens, and this is what we've seen with our clients, is that to learn how all these things work, you have to spend a lot of time. And for a lot of time, you don't really understand how they work. You get lots of frustration, little results, until the point that you get to a place where you have spent enough time and things are working and you kind of get it connected, and then you make things work. So what we want is to meet people, to meet people here. So you don't need to spend all this time. You don't need to spend all this money either. You don't need to get all the frustration to make it work. It's something that we can plug and play for our clients, so we can automate the entire process, which is part of the Iconic business process, if you remember before. So again, why did we do that? Because guess what? I'm an engineer and I love tech and I have lots of fun doing this stuff, and I could do it for fun. So after years and years seeing people experience struggle, I decided to make something about it. And this is something that now we include. So just to give you a very quick brief, what you get inside the Iconic Business Hub, which is something that looks like that in the inside. It's all the payments, customer nurturing, enrollment, course delivery, pipelines and CRMs. You can have as many funnels and websites as you want, as many emails, as many text sequences, as many appointments, calendars. You can have everything with no limit. Instead of having limitations from these apps that they charge you just for thin air, we've created something that it makes life of people easier, and we are super, super, super excited about. But again, I'll share a little bit more details later on. Yeah, so this is how it looks in real life. Basically, what we want is to have a business that it allows you to work less, that it allows you to make more money than ever, but it gives you more freedom than ever again, as well. So this is an example of one of my clients, and again, the same thing that happened to me happened to her. She was blocked from Facebook and she had to start from scratch on LinkedIn, and she was hustling through her life. She was posting 5 times a day. She was doing all the things that she had been told to do. She was working harder. She wasn't working smarter. So she ended up making $150,000 in 12 months, which is about 5 times more than what she was making at her day job. And then we have this example, which is Mita Dani, and she as well. She and I met when she was struggling to make more than $4,000 with her business, and we started working together. And she's an outstanding example. She went in 4 months from $4,000 or $5,000 a month to making $200,000 a month. And she was working less than before. She was working with better clients, and she was having much more fun. So that's so you know how it looks like in real life. The theory and the practice is it's always nice, but and again, this doesn't mean that it's gonna work for everyone. What we don't do now is to sell the same strategy to everyone. We just want to make sure that everyone gets something that it's custom made, that it suits you, and if it doesn't, then I'm sorry. So look, guys, I'll hop in again. I'll jump in again in a little while, but I would like to leave it to Bobby. This is your jam, the Iconic TEDx formula, and he's going to talk about the 5 steps to get on a TEDx stage this year, not this year, next year in 2023. And yeah, and I'll be sharing a little bit more later on. Bobby, go on, man.
Okay, I'm excited about this. All right, so if you stop sharing, I'm going to start sharing my screen here. There we go. And I'm going to share. Let's see here. Share screen. Boom. Okay. Can everybody see this? Everyone see the slides here? Can you see it, Carlos? You can.
We can.
All right. Yep. Good. Awesome. Let's go ahead and just move this up here. All right. Perfect. So we're going to talk about how to land your first TEDx talk. I'm going to give you some. And again, getting a TEDx talk is all about building authority, right? That's what we're focusing on here. So if you have questions or you have comments or you have feedback on the slides or the content, I want you to comment below. I want you to let people know and let me know what you're thinking, what you're asking, and let's go through the process here. For me, again, if you can speak, you can influence, you can change lives. And that's a big part of what we want to be able to do as speakers. And how I want you to use the knowledge today. Again, everyone has a story, everyone has a struggle, and everyone needs some help along the way. So, those who I've worked with TEDx and building their iconic CEO brand or thought leadership brand, they struggle because they need that help. And so that's why we're here. We're here to help you guys. And again, knowledge does not equal results. You have to start, you have to do the work, right? So ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid, and then go do it? And I think the biggest challenge a lot of people have is they don't actually put the time in or the work in to get the results they want. So today, my promise is to you is to help you, give you the strategies and tactics to help you land and monetize your first TEDx talk, to share a story and message with the world. And the way I look at it is, I have a thought leadership branding model that I use for the Thought Leadership Brand Club. And for me, the big thing is, you start with the foundation of building mindset and confidence with people. You have a content strategy, you have storytelling, speaking skills, you build meaningful relationships, and then you have a clear personal brand that helps you level up. And that personal brand feeds into the mindset, confidence, and this is how we build it up. But TEDx is part of this thing. The TEDx is part of the whole content, storytelling, and speaking piece, which then leads to meaningful relationships, which leads to personal branding, which helps you level up. If you have the right strategies, you have the right community, you have the right knowledge, and you have the right coaching support, that's how we level up your thought leadership brand. So in the next little bit, I'm going to share a bit about why TEDx, your story, where to start, the culture of TED and TEDx, how to make them really want you, which is a bonus. And of course, we'll have Q&A at the end, as Carlos had mentioned. Now, what are the benefits of TEDx? So there's many, but again, if you have a TEDx talk, you are positioned now as an authority and expert in your field. That's a huge way to build your thought leadership brand. You're going to inspire a global audience to change their worldview or take an action, which again can increase your impact and your income. You're going to get higher visibility, instant credibility, a better, strong thought leadership brand. And again, a TEDx talk positions you as an expert. As soon as people see you've done a TED talk on topic X, you're now seen as an expert on that field. And of course, being a TEDx speaker allows you to connect with ideal clients because people will see that credibility and want to work with you and want to collaborate with you. And you can grow a community of engaged followers on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, and other places. And all of this that we're talking about, the benefits of TEDx, leads to more website traffic, more leads, more opportunities, more speaking gigs, clients, and close deals. And I can tell you when I did my first TEDx talk, that's exactly how I was able to take my business to that next level. Now, look at all the people who have spoken at TEDx. It's actually quite a powerful list of people, but look at Tony Robbins, Brené Brown, Susan Cain, who's the power of introverts, Salman Khan, Bill Gates, and some really amazing entrepreneurs and business leaders and entrepreneurs and philosophers. And so the takeaway here is that, the branding by association and the alumni network is quite attractive, right? You're like on the same level as some of these people. And again, if you have questions, put in the comments. You have feedback, let me know what you think. Tell me how you're feeling. I want to know more about what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Now, the global reach of TEDx is quite phenomenal, right? 3,000 TEDx events yearly, 30,000 all time, 3,500 cities, 116 languages, 6 billion views, 172,000 TEDx Talks on the TEDx Talks channel. And here's the most important piece, which is 3,800 TEDx Talks were featured on TED.com. Because people like Simon Sinek and Brené Brown, they actually did a TEDx talk, but then when it got featured on the TED.com site, their careers, their business and brands took off. And so the TEDx is actually a powerful way, just as strong as a book or a program, to get leads, to get speaking gigs, to get business opportunities. My first TEDx talk was actually called the 5 C's of Connection. My second one is all about the power of questions. And I talked about, why and why not, what if and how these 3 questions can change your life. And then my third TEDx talk was about leadership, global and local. I also hosted it. It was a huge exposure, but a ton of work as someone who's actually hosting events. It was a lot of work. And then my fourth one was focused on students, called Learning How to Fly as a Leader. And that was actually a really fun one. I thought this was like the one. This is like my best talk that's going to land on the TED.com site. And then I realized I screwed up because I put Grover on the imagery, and I forgot about copyright and stuff. So that didn't work out for me. But then the fifth one, I was like, you know what? I got to make sure this one is the one I want. And this one's called "Could You Change a Person's Life in 20 Seconds?" And I talked about the importance of 20-second hugs. And this one, as you made it onto the TED.com website, which was great. So, what are your biggest challenges to landing your first TEDx talk? I want to hear from you. So, in the comments here, just share. I want to hear, what are your biggest challenges to landing your first TEDx talk? Is it because, and again, people often say, I don't know where to start. I don't know if my ideas are any good, or I have lots of ideas, but which one's the best one? My story is complicated. Who am I to share a TEDx talk? There's lots of things people say. So, what are your biggest challenges in landing your TEDx talk? Share on the comments. So just type below. I kind of want to hear what exactly are your biggest challenges, because for me, that's a really important piece. If we understand your challenges, then we'll be more likely to help you. Okay, so what are your biggest challenges? I want you to put that in the chat box right now. I'll look at it also after the replay is done, and you comment. If you're watching the replay, you can actually comment even later, which is totally fine, okay? Yeah, when and how to reply. I see that from you, Joshua. Thank you so much for that. Other people, if you have other ones, just put them in there. Don't know where to start. Very, very common thing. Thanks, Tom, for that. So here's the big secret, guys. You have a TEDx talk inside of you. You don't have to be Simon Sinek or Brene Brown to do a TEDx talk. Everyone has a story in them. I'll take this even further. Everyone has many TEDx stories and topics in them. So you want to know how I got them? Let me get right into this with you. So let's start with what people do wrong, okay? Number one, they have a bad idea, right? So every time I talk to a client, here's my idea, and I'm like, okay, that's not really a good idea. Is your idea unique enough, right? I want to talk about love. I want to talk about the power of empathy. I mean, that's nice, but the problem is, Brene Brown already talked about empathy and vulnerability, so it's not new. Is it something that people want to hear? I want to talk about a topic that maybe no one wants to hear about. And more importantly, will the TEDx organizers like it? Because if they don't like it, if the theme of the TEDx event is technology and you want to talk about something very holistic and pseudoscience, you're not going to get in the TEDx talk. So you have to make sure your idea makes sense. The other thing people get wrong, speaking of holistic, is their idea is too holistic. So TEDx prefers ideas based in science, so they do frown upon the more holistic ideas out there. Doesn't mean you can't do it. There are TEDx events where holistic stuff are a little bit more, as long as there's a powerful story and a powerful impact or outcome, they might be willing to do that, right? So someone who climbed Mount Everest and had a very ethereal moment can share that story, and that could still be a TEDx talk. But ideally, you want to have something based in evidence, and if not, share a personal story with that good idea that came from it. And then it's the wrong audience, right? So if your idea doesn't fit the TEDx culture or isn't aligned with the theme, then they're not going to organize won't really take notice. Again, number one rule for good speakers: know your audience, right? Make sure you know what your TEDx audience is like, which I'll talk about in a moment. So how I got 5 TEDx talks and rejected 3 other ones, as Carlos told me to say. One was having a strong thought leadership brand, because he reached out to me. Building new leaders in coaching, strategic networking, and of course, curating good ideas. And I would say number 1 and number 4 are the most important piece. Now, if you look at these people, what do these leaders stand for in a few words? Put this in the comment box. Seth Godin is what? Marketing and tribes. Malala Yousafzai, what's she all about? Educating women and resilience and courage. Gary Vaynerchuk, he's about entrepreneurship and the hustle. Beyonce is about R&B and hip hop. Brene Brown's about vulnerability and empathy. So they all have different things that they stand for. So type below their name what you think they stand for. But these people are all thought leaders. And what exactly is thought leadership? I talk a lot about this, about how I want to build thought leaders in you. And thought leaders have 3 main criteria steps. These are people who learn to build broad connections and deep connections and followers. Number 2, they constantly innovate new ideas and generate awesome ideas and content. So Beyonce's writing songs, Oprah's writing books, Gary Vaynerchuk's doing videos. And then they're mastering the communication and public speaking. They're constantly writing, active listening, and storytelling. So Gary's doing videos, and Oprah's writing books, and Malala's writing books, and people are speaking. So they work on their communication skills all the time. And if you want to be seen as a thought leader, this is what you have to do. Anyone can develop all 3. The more you develop all 3 of them, the more achievement impact you have. Some of us are good at 1. Some of us are good at number 2. Others are good at number 3. So work on them to build them even better. And that's kind of what I do with people when I work with them. And why is being a thought leader important? Well, when you're seen as the expert with a solid reputation, you have a huge network and you own the conversation, very similar to what Carlos talked about with the Iconic CEO. Opportunities come to you because you are the authority. You are memorable. You have more confidence to go after opportunities because you've had the coaching, the training, and the mentorship. And then connections, customers, clients, and colleagues will follow you. Look at Marie Forleo. She has a really amazing business as an Iconic CEO. She has her business page, she has the podcast, she has her video series, and she has the VIP business school. And she's built a strong thought leadership brand for herself. Because thought leadership equals authority. And if you have a TEDx talk under your belt, you will be seen as a thought leader. You will be seen as authority. You will be seen as an Iconic CEO. And that is an important piece. Now, you've already heard a little bit about me, but, I have a lot of influence around the world. And so that influence, that thought leadership has brought me a lot of opportunity with 650,000 followers and 1 billion impressions across social media. Has it helped me being a thought leader and having a thought leadership brand? Absolutely. I was named the top 100 leadership speakers alongside Richard Branson, John C. Maxwell, and Bernie Brown. I did 5 TEDx Talk, rejected 3 other ones. I was named the top 75 LinkedIn influential voice alongside Gary Vee, baby. I love that. And Bridget Hyacinth over there. And I mentioned how I got 5 TEDx Talks are these 4 things. So I'm going to dive deeper into them right now. And again, if you have questions, put them in the comments, guys. Join us in the comments and join the conversation. This is actually being live streamed on LinkedIn as well as on Twitter too. And number 2 is building new leadership coaching. So one of the things I found is that a lot of TEDx events are actually put together by young leaders who want to make an impact. And so over the years, I've built relationships with people who have done TEDx events. They've organized the TEDx events. And so the first TEDx Talk I ever did actually was someone that I mentored. I met him at an event. He saw me speak, said, "I love what you're doing." Several years later, he worked for me as an intern. And then a few years later, he said, "Bobby, I'm doing this thing called TEDx. Can you come speak? And I think it'll be amazing." And I was like, "What's TEDx?" And then I looked it up. And I was like, "Holy cow, TEDx is amazing. Everyone's spoken of this thing. I better do this." And so I went, and that was the first one I ever did. And I was so glad that he reached out to me. But building, and then the next time I got one, again, someone said, "Bobby, I'm inspired by your work. Thanks for all your mentorship and support to build me as a leader. I'm now running a TEDx event." And next thing you know, she invited me to hers as well. So building leaders and coaching people goes a long way into having that impact come back to you. And then, of course, strategic targeted networking, right? You want to meet people and strategically. So whether they are TEDx organizers or TEDx speakers or people in the community who help organize or sponsor things, again, are you reaching out to people to build those relationships? A lot of people are very shy about doing that. But again, building that goes a long way. And then number 4, curating that good idea. Because, you may have and a lot of people struggle with this one because I think they're struggling with that fixed mindset. You have to have a growth mindset in terms of, trying to learn from criticism and trying to figure out the best way to hone it in. Because the truth is, when you create a good idea, the idea is more important than your speaking ability. If you have a great idea, you can speak on a TEDx stage. Your idea has to align with the theme. It doesn't necessarily have to, but if it does, the more likely the chance you'll be notified. So my 5th TEDx Talk, the theme was power of connection. I was like, holy cow, power of connection. That's the hashtag I use on LinkedIn for all my posts. So then I submitted a 5-minute video where I talked about the power of hugs, and they called me the next day and said, "Bobby, we want you." That was probably the fastest application process I ever had. It's got to be new. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be different. It can't just be, I want to talk about love. I want to talk about sales. I want to talk about business. I want to talk about family. It's got to be very specific. Perfect example, there was a guy who did a talk called The Ninjutsu of Sales. And what he did was he took the ninja philosophy and applied it to sales. That would be considered a different, fresh take on something. And that worked for him. In fact, another story is when I did my talk on 20-second hugs, I actually looked out online and found, oh my gosh, there's lots of talks about hugs. Let me find a different slant. And so my slant was the power of a 20-second hug. It's got to be simple. You don't have to solve the world's problems today, but simple ideas can be really good. Some of the best 3-minute TED Talks are the guy who did the paper towel one, where he said, instead of taking 3 paper towels, shake your hands like 3 times, and then take 1 paper towel, and you're going to save a boatload, millions of tons of paper towel. And that was a very simple idea that took 3 minutes. So there are different ways to do that. So curate a really good idea. And this is usually where people need the most help with, because I've seen a lot of really, really not great ideas. And then, of course, there's got to be a story in it, and there's got to be a conversation that you create. And so how are you creating the story? How are you telling the story? And what's the story? And how are you creating the conversation for people? So does anyone actually have a TEDx idea? If you do have a TEDx idea, put in the comments. I want to hear what it is. Maybe I can give you feedback right away on what your comment idea is. Now, if you put it in the replay and I don't see it right now, just tag me and then I'll see your comment. But I'd love to see what your idea is, in the comments, because I want to understand, what you're seeing and what you're not seeing. All right. So just try to do that, because that would be great. Do you have a TEDx idea already? Do you have something that you're thinking about? What is that idea? Because I think, again, right away, you're going to realize you have to hone it, right? You have to hone it, target it, work on it. But I want to see if people have ideas. If you don't, some people are like, where do I start? But the idea is going to be the idea is going to be how do I take it into that next level. So here's how Tom said, the user's guide to conscious leadership. Okay, Tom, my feedback right now is that's too broad. It's too broad, right? Take a specific piece of your life story and come up with a title that's going to get people's attention. So conscious leadership, I think that's good. User's guide, not so. So we have to have some sort of hook around conscious leadership or some sort of takeaway or outcome that's going to make it really more pointed. Okay, so diversity through unity. Okay, again, Mike, that's also really, really broad, right? What does that even mean? So we're going to have to take some sort of specific piece of diversity or specific outcome of unity, and I think that's the way to pitch it. Or it could be just a pitch like the story of your life, where it could be like that. How the basketball team or a car crash did this to me. Okay, so let's keep going. Love these ideas, though. Now, the hardest part of getting a TED Talk is knowing your full story, right? So a lot of people forget about all the things that happen in their life. And so that's why you take time to extract all the stuff that happened in your life. I think that goes a long way to helping you come up with the right story. Identifying the right topic. So, one of the clients I worked with, she had this incredibly long life story, and she had the TED Talk was about the whole life story. And I was like, no, that's not going to go. Give me a bullet points of your entire life. So we worked on her entire life story. And then I said, you know what? What's this one bullet about? Tell me about this. And they said, well, and next thing you know, I was like, okay, that's your TEDx talk. And she's like, what? And yeah, that's the one, because you pick out and we extracted 5 different TEDx talks and identified 2 or 3 really, really good ones to work on. So there are ways to do that. And I see people are commenting in the post about different ways to share ideas and TEDx talk ideas. It's great. Keep it up, guys. Share that stuff. How do you craft a tantalizing title? So, if you want to get the TEDx organizer's attention, you have to have a title that gets their attention. So when I said the history and mystery of hugs, that got their attention. When I titled it, How to Change a Person's Life in 20 Seconds, they're like, wow, tell me more. What do you mean? What's going on? So there's got to be a way that gets them to really entice them, because the title the title and the story and the topic and why it's relevant are going to be so important. And then finally, how do we monetize your TED Talk? So when my TED Talks launched, I had a whole campaign around my social media strategy, my newsletter strategy. In fact, I launched my entire social media campaign, empire, building impression, whatever you want to call it, on March 5th, 2011, which was the day of my first ever TEDx Talk 11 years ago. So that's when it all started. So I'm ready. Now what? Okay, what do we do? Well, would you like a step-by-step process? I'm going to share with you. Now, hopefully this helps you a little bit. You may need more help with my help hands-on, but let me give you a step-by-step process. So where do we start? The first thing you do is you locate all the TEDx events that are near you. Now, there are lots of ways to do this. There's lots. So you got to find the TEDx events near you. Now, there's on the TED.com site, there's a list. There's also curated lists out there that you can actually pay for. I actually have a list of every single TEDx event, all the organizers, and all that kind of stuff, updated as of September 20, I think it's September 23rd. So if you want that, I'm going to be able to share that as a bonus in a future event that I do. And again, you have to determine what are your big new ideas. What are those ideas? I always have ideas in your back pocket. I've always had 2 or 3 ideas in my back pocket. I still have one major TEDx talk idea in my pocket that I'm ready to do. I can't wait to do it. So let's put together those ideas. Connect with the organizers. I met up with Trishala Pillai. She was the lead at TEDx UW. And so I had lunch with her. We talked about things. And in doing so, she invited me to maybe participate. Or you can join the team and maybe you can eventually participate the following year. It's also important to know which TEDx events to target and which ones to reject. So we talked earlier, Carlos mentioned Bobby rejected 3. Yeah, I did reject 3 of them. So how do you reject a TEDx talk? Well, how organized are they? One of the ones that approached me was an alma mater for my school, my MBA school. And they were so disorganized. I was like, man, there's no way I'm doing this. There's no website. There's no Facebook page. There's no, you've been doing this for 3 years. There's no place for all your previous talks. Are there any videos? I was just like, well, okay, I don't want to do this. I said, sorry, not doing this one. The other thing I look at is, and then meanwhile, I went to this one, which was TEDx UTSC, they were super organized. They reached out to me, 7 months in advance. They brought me a speaker coach, even though I didn't need one, but they had it organized. I thought that was really great. They showcased that they had a two camera system. I'm like, okay, that's great too. I want a video. All these things were really helpful to me because I was like, that's what I want. And then, speaker profiles. Is everyone going to be a superstar, or is everyone going to be a bunch of people that aren't well known? Because they're both beneficial. My first TEDx talk, I was among a bunch of really awesome people. So it was good to be among several stars. I thought that was cool. But another TEDx talk I did, I was more the star of the show. I was the lead speaker they're really looking for. And that's fine too, because that also sets you apart. But you have to decide what works for you. And then, alignment of the idea. Is there opportunity? How goes the opportunity? Maybe the theme. Maybe you can travel. So one of my friends here, she wanted to go to Zurich. She was from Canada, but she had an opportunity in Zurich where she knew the organizers because she lived there many years ago. And she's like, should I travel for TEDx talk? I'm like, yeah, you should go travel. They're your friends. They'll let you do this. And she's like, fine, I'm doing it. And then she went and she did a TEDx talk, got accepted, and that was great. So how organized are they? What kind of speaker profiles do they have? Is there an alignment idea, opportunity, and theme? Size of the event, have they grown over the years? Do they have a social media presence? Are they the right target audience? These are all things you need to consider when you target the right TEDx talk. And then you got to create a nomination plan, right? You can nominate yourself, have a nomination team, find a buddy. You can network by offering to come and speak at those schools, leverage your relationship with organizers and partners. You can leverage your social media thought leadership brand, which I mentioned before. I also think that you should put together a 3 to 5 minute video. And I can teach people how to put together a really kick-ass 3 to 5 minute storytelling video of your talk and why they should take you. But that to me is a really, really huge way to set yourself apart because it's more than usually what they ask. And, most of the time the speaker plans, you have to look at the stuff and put together a Word document. And of course, this is something that I guide a lot of my clients on how to do it. So, here are the judges. What do they want? What do they want when they evaluate your TEDx application? Well, what they want is they don't want speakers. They want presenters or teachers of a really cool idea. That's what they want. They want your idea to be unique or align with their theme or have a unique slant or all the above. They want high-profile brand thought leaders or iconic CEO authorities, right? The whole point is you got to build that up because it's going to increase your chance to be selected. Can you clearly convey an idea? Can you walk and talk? They like unique personalities. And they prefer others to nominate you. So while you can nominate yourself, if you can get other people to nominate you, that can go a long way. So now, how do I make them want me? How do I make them want me for my TEDx talk? Well, number one, you got to know the culture of TEDx, right? So the culture of TED and TEDx is a very interesting thing. It's what's interesting is that you give us the best idea of your life, you share your personal story and background, you dive deep into the topic, you use minimal slides, which stressed me out, by the way, and then you do it in 18 minutes with a giant clock watching you. And I got to say, I was terrified by this because I love my PowerPoint and I like to have detail in my slides. And there was a giant clock looking at me when I was speaking. But this is a big part of what they want. And so, you got to tell a story your way. And it's not about you; it's about the audience. It's about the event. You want to stick to the clock. If you go over, they won't invite you again, and then you'll get a reputation for being over the clock. And here's the thing, guys, if it's not personal, it's not worthwhile. So that's why, again, when I work with people on extracting the iconic CEO TEDx talk of your life, it's got to be based on your story, some sort of story from your life, personal, a story from your work, from your personal life, whatever it might be, but you have to extract that story. You have to understand the context of the event. You have to use the tools that you have. A really good example of using the tools you had was Bill Gates had, he talked about malaria in Africa, and he talked about, immunization. And he had a jar of mosquitoes, and he said, these mosquitoes have malaria. And then he opened the lid, and everyone was like, oh my God. And people freaked out. And he's like, don't worry, we're immunized. It's not an issue here. So these mosquitoes won't do anything to you. And it was a great way to, make that impression on people. So how to make them want you? Step 1, know the culture of TED. Step 2, curate a really good idea. Step 3, curate the connections with the people organizing and the people who might want to sponsor you or whatever it might be. Step 4, follow up, be responsive, be accessible, be open and flexible. When I run speaker events, and when I ask a speaker to, send me stuff and they don't respond for 2 weeks, do you think I want to work with them again? Heck no. If TEDx sends you stuff, respond right away. And then step 5 is going to be a bit of a bonus idea, as well as I'm going to share step 6 with you. Step 5, of course, is to build a huge thought leadership brand. I cannot tell you that 7 of my 8 TEDx talks that people offered me came because they knew who I was, they loved what I talked about, they loved my content, they had a strong personal connection with me, and therefore said, Bobby, we want you at our event. So that to me is huge. You build your authority, build your expertise, build your thought leadership brand. That's why the Thought Leadership Brand Club, is here to help people build those brands. So this is something you all need to do. And testimony, one of the things I love about this is that, Bobby's the king of strategy, and I learned something new and important from him in every interaction. His input has been and will continue to be critical in the growth of my business and career. So I really appreciate this really the idea of helping her get clarity, purpose, and direction was, to me, my favorite thing to do, because once you do that, then we can build that iconic CEO and thought leadership brand and get the TEDx talk. The problem is most people don't want to do the work. I'm sure Carlos will agree with that. Most people don't want to do the work, and that's a big issue. The bonus tip, start your own TEDx event. You can actually run your own TEDx event as long as the city or the school or the theme hasn't already been done. Here in Toronto, where I live, there's a TEDx Youth Toronto, as well as a TEDx Toronto. There's also a TEDx Women of Toronto. There's also a TEDx Distillery District, which is part of Toronto, but it's a specific area. So there's ways to have your own TEDx event if you want. And some final thoughts before we go to the final thoughts and Q&A. One of the most important things you can do with a TEDx talk is to make people feel awesome, feel empowered, feel listened to, feel inspired, feel like you heard them. And the best TEDx talks do this. And everyone needs a coach. Doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gym instructor, or a bridge player. I have a sales coach. I've got a fitness coach. I have my mindset and business coach. I have coaches to help me be the best I can be, because a better me is a better everything else. And that's why, again, we all need coaching, we all need support. And so I'm a really big believer in that. So some final thoughts here. And again, put your questions in the boxes, and then we'll also take Q&A via the feed here. And why TEDx? It's a huge branding opportunity for yourself. It's strong marketing material because you have the video. It's a chance to make the TED.com page, which can really, set fire to your entire authority and your business. Where to start? Find the locations, curate your ideas, find the best theme, connect with the organizer, determine your target TEDx events, create a nomination plan. You may need help with that, but that's how you do it, and we can help you do that. Understand the culture of TED, right? So simple, clear, relevant, enjoyable, and original talks. Do the story, your way, with your message, knowing your audience. And then finally, how to make them want you. Know the culture of TED and TEDx, curate the really great idea, curate the connections, follow, be responsive, be accessible, be open and flexible. They may want changes, they may want you to try something else. That's fine. Don't be like, wow, no, my idea is firmly in the way it is. And then step 5, build a huge thought leadership brand. I'm telling you, that is a huge thing that's going to help you. And when we work with you, or if we work with you, we're going to talk about that stuff and help you figure that out. So, you ready to start? If you're ready to start, great. Just put in a thumbs up or a heck yes or a abracadabra or a Scooby-Dooby-Doo in the chat box below. And I want to hear from you, because these are people that I want to hear from. So next steps. All right, we have, so actually I'm going to turn this over to Carlos. Carlos is going to talk about next steps. And then is that okay? Or should we switch to your presentation, Carlos? What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine. We did run another one of these presentations. And look, the other one was for closing 2022. Let me share my screen if you want. What we can do, if you guys are interested in getting into TEDx, what we can do is, we have 5 spots available for people that want to get on TEDx, and these are 5 spots that will get on TEDx warranty in 2023. And on the other hand, because we've been talking about the Iconic Business Hub, which is a way to optimize and automate your business, since we're launching that, what we're doing is we're helping people that are looking or are already using some of these automations, and we're helping them for free. So as I said before, there's nothing here to sell. The program is not free. Of course, the program to get on TEDx is not free, so don't get me wrong. But if you're ready to to invest in your growth and want to get on a TEDx stage, and that's guaranteed. We got 5 spots, and Boy gonna drop the link if you want to check it out. There's got a little video there that you can watch, and you can find the time for a chat. And again, there is not going to be a lot of spots, so there's only 5, and this is not for everyone. In the case of the Business Hub, if you're already using some of the apps that we've been sharing, you're wanting to start automating and optimizing your business, we're giving like business coaching and helping people optimize the stuff for free if they use the app. Again, this is for people who are already using some of these automations or looking to minimize their costs, or they're looking to grow the business in a way that it requires less of their time. So again, you can check the link in the comments. You can find a time for a chat. It's going to be like a quick chat with me. You get a video on the link as well that you can watch. And either way, it's good. So that's all for now. If you guys have any question, by the way, I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to leave the link here. This is the Business Hub. So basically what we are helping people is, building their website, plus the hosting, all the social media planner, all the email marketing, CRM software, like all this stuff are included in there. And because we are in the launching phase, we've been using that for a very long time. But we wanna, before we put it into the public, we're gonna get like a bunch of beta testers. So feel free to book a call. Happy to chat and explain you how it looks like in the inside. And again, if you want to get on a TEDx stage, if you're ready to invest in your growth and make it happen, then super happy to chat as well.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. I appreciate that. And again, we're really excited to deliver this training for you guys on this live stream. It's the first time doing it. Carlos shared his magic. I'm sharing my magic. We would love to, see if you have questions. Like right now, we booked this actually until 2:30, so we have 15 minutes. But if people have questions, you can put them in the box here. Or if I missed one because the feed has like all these comments. If I missed one, you can repeat it and copy and paste it because we're here for a little bit. Otherwise, we'll end the call. But definitely book a call with us, and we want to help you get on the stage. And as we said, with my methodology, and if you do the right work, we guarantee the results of getting you on the TEDx stage next year. So that's something that's pretty exciting. And I've already been using Carlos. I just recently started using Carlos's amazing platform. I got to tell you, it's worth it. It's fantastic. No longer do I have to go to multiple different places to do this and this and this and this. It's all there, which is fantastic. And what's amazing to it, it's so comprehensive. I probably explored like 10% of it, but I'm exploring more and more of it. So I think it's really, really good. So with that, we just put together an awesome presentation. If you have questions or if you want to learn more about what we're doing, great. We recommend you book a call with us and click the link that we just shared. We'd love to have you have a conversation with you and see what we can do to get you on stage and help you build your brand. Whether you want to build your iconic authority brand or whether you want to get a TEDx talk or do both, like that's what it's all about. Because he's a great guy to work with, and I'm nice too. So there you go.
Yes, definitely. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. And even if you're watching the replay, drop a comment below or reach out to us. Always here to chat.
There's a question here already. There's a question already, Carlos, if I may. Roseanne asked, I'd love to understand the scope and cost here if you can share. So
the scope and?
The scope and the costs.
The scope and the costs of the app?
Well, it just says cost in general. So I'm not sure whether it's referring to the TEDx piece or the hub.
Anything regarding costs. Like, again, we're not selling anything here, and I insist on that. And we're not gonna, try to give anything to anyone that is not a good fit. If you're interested, you have the link. You can book a quick call. There's a video there explaining more of the stuff. The scope, knowing nothing about who is asking, it's going to be impossible for us to talk about scope because we don't have a cookie cutter program, a thing that we deliver and everyone's the same. We take the time to get to know you and give you something that it suits you. So you become a happy client, a happy camper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things that's important to understand is that, whoever I work with or whoever we work with, we're fully invested in their success because their success is our success. So helping people with their businesses, helping people with their TEDx talk, helping people with getting clarity or building an iconic thought leadership brand. These are all things that, those who know me will know that if you see me on a call or whatever, and you ask me questions, I'm here for you. I'm there to deliver. And I can also say the same for Carlos, having worked with him. He was actually, I hired him as my own coach. He's always been really supportive, and I love the way he helps all of us. So that's great. Yeah, and then someone mentioned, okay, so we already answered that question, that's fine. So if there's any other questions on the replay, you're more than welcome to ask them. You can also tag us. But again, the main thing is, again, honestly, book a call. It's a free call, and there's no book a call, find if you're interested, find out if there's alignment. And again, if you want the results we're talking about for your business and for a TEDx talk, that's really what it's all about. And so we offer this really detailed, comprehensive training to, give you a step up. But I think that most of us need step ups people need to fly and need help. So if you want to learn more about how to do this and how to really take it to that next level, book a call. We'd love to talk to you. So that's all I have to say for today for the training. Carlos, any last thoughts?
That's all for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it and it was valuable. And you can always reach out. You tag us in the comments, send us a message or a connection request, and we'll be here for you. That's all. Wonderful.
Check the link in the comments. And this will be available on our LinkedIn profile. It's going to be available on my Twitter feed. So you'll be able to see this anytime you want. All right. All the best to you. Carlos, thank you so much for doing this with me. It was really great. I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for joining us today live and those in the replay. Wish you guys all the best. So long. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.